We are live.
We are live. Good afternoon. It's almost evening for you because it's 4
Actually,
p.m.
yeah, it's
in
4
Kenya
p.m.
right now.
We're
It's 2
bordering
p.m.
evening.
Well, boy, you guys are bordering evening. It's afternoon here in Regina, Saskatchewan. Hi, everyone. We're just going to be chatting here as people come in. Welcome to our live event today. As you're coming in, please leave your say hello and let me know where you're joining from. And I'll add an extra question here. Let me know too if you're in tech or you're looking to transition to tech or you're already an expert in that particular field. Let me know in the comment section. Leave us comments as we're going on here. Sena and I are just going to get chatting here while we're waiting for more people to join. My name is Florence Akpan. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and I have with me here Kes, who is a business analyst and a professional with a business that helps people that are looking to transition into tech. So I'm going to pass it over to you to introduce yourself to our
I think
audience.
you've done a great job already. Thank you so much, Florence.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here chatting with you today. Like you said, my name is Kes. Kes for short. Kesiena is the full name, which kind of the Sena for the brand is derived from. I'm a business analyst consultant, or I like to call myself a tech consultant, really, because I play various roles within the tech space. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of my professional career, I have been within the industry for about, I think this is my 14th year.
Wow.
Yeah, implementing various software solutions for companies in the US and Canada. I also have a tech company and a training school. So I can say I'm very busy in a
You
nutshell.
are very busy. You are
Yeah,
very busy. That's amazing.
yeah.
And I caught a couple of things there where you said you've worked in implementing for companies in Canada and the US and all of that. So you're based in Canada right now. Is this with you working here, or have you lived in the US as well?
No, always been in Canada, but I
Okay.
think the role and the industry exposes you to, various places and there are opportunities, especially in the tech world. So I've been exposed to
Mhm.
implementing projects in the US as well.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's awesome. So you're in Canada. Tell us how you came to Canada because that's always a story that a lot of people want to
Yeah.
know. A lot of people that are listening are immigrants just like we are in Canada. And I think that that is always a good place to start because it tells a lot of story about what we're going to be talking about here as we go along.
Yeah,
So
I
how
think
did
I
you
think
come?
I think everyone is really, especially a country like Canada, it's so beautiful because it's very diverse and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are immigrants. We all came in at some point. So definitely understand when people have their own individual immigration story. I think I have mine. It's
Yeah,
also
of
unique to
course.
each
Yeah.
individual. So for me, I came straight out of university. So I finished my university and I relocated with my family. However, my family came before me. So part of that story is I'd heard, before you relocate, you start to hear things. And I'd heard that, once you come in, you have to start all over again if you kind of leave your degree halfway. I was
Mm-hmm.
adamant. I'm like, I need to finish. I need to actually have my degree in hands before I relocate. So my family had relocated the year before, but I waited back to finish my university before relocating. This is 18 years ago in
Mm-hmm.
2004. So I have been here for a minute.
Yes, you
Yeah.
have, just like I. I'm 18 years as well in
Oh,
Canada. So
wow.
a lot of
Yeah.
things.
So
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I'm actually meeting someone that has been here for a long time. When
Mm-hmm.
I say the number of years, people are like, huh, really? I'm like, yeah,
Like,
people came at that point in life. So yeah, I've
yeah.
been here for a minute. And I think part of what really drove me to this point is again that immigration story, the journey of being a professional and trying to transition into a field that is worthwhile is
Mm-hmm.
how I came to this point today. Because I recall coming in, having that degree in hand, it's like nothing happened. There
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of struggles. You have to do certain types of jobs just to fit in. Eventually,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go back to school to pursue my education. I studied accounting, so I continued with certifying. Started working
Mm-hmm.
on my CMA, which
Mm-hmm.
I pursued at the time. I got that, and then I got into a company, a manufacturing company as a financial analyst. So that was my journey into just the workforce.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
then from
amazing.
from there on, you start to hear things. I was a financial analyst for a few years. And actually from church, I started hearing about business analysis. A lot of people, they started making money. I'm like, what is this? So I started doing my research, of course, talking to people, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sleeping on this one.
Yes.
I'm going to figure out a way to get in, right? So it was just from then on, did the training and then transitioned into the field from finance. So when I tell people transitioning is possible into this, quote unquote tech world, it is possible, right?
It is possible.
Regardless of your background, you're able to move into the field.
That's amazing. That's really good to know. And when you say like you came in with your accounting degree and then you were able to transition, did you have to do that with a change of company that you were working with at the time, where by the time you were done the program and all of that? Just a little bit more about that transition for you.
Yes, of course, definitely. So I think that is the number one thing when it comes to trying to move industries. I have these conversations with a lot of my students, and I tell them it is possible to switch within the company that you're working in. However, when you're applying, you apply with a certain type of resume or qualifications. And then, you're coming in, say, as a customer service rep, they hire you as that. And then all of a sudden, you're trying to go into tech. They already have a certain type of resume and profile for you. So companies are a bit like, So the best thing is to find outside, right?
Outside.
You now have this new set of qualification, transferable skills from your old roles that you have built over the years. Package everything together and find something outside, which was what I did at the time. So upon taking the training and completing the training, I started to look for roles outside, like within companies that were hiring for business analysts. And that's how I transitioned. My very first BA role was actually a senior BA role with Deloitte.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I got a senior BA
So
role.
if I could step in there before I miss my part, how long had you worked before you were able to get that senior BA role as your first BA role after your license?
I think about 3 years. Yeah, so I've been a financial analyst and / data analyst for about 3 years. And then there were roles. Actually, the Deloitte role wasn't advertised as a senior business analyst role. It was just advertised as a BA role. However, when the offer came, they had given me a senior business. And at the time, I'm like shaking. I'm like, senior, what do I know I'm going to do there?
Oh my goodness.
But it was a 3-stage interview process. The initial draft of people that they called for the first interview, I think they said they had about over 1,000 submissions. And I'm like, okay, and you guys picked me. So there's a lot of the imposter syndrome that starts to happen. Like, can I really do this? Do I really know what I'm going to say? But it is possible. When you have the right people. I had the right people at the time supporting me. The training program I took at the time was they really supported, as well as just having people that have done it. Like I said, it was church. There were a lot of people in church that I started to transition. So I had that support group almost to fall back on. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And that's really my journey into the industry. And it's been amazing.
That's amazing. That's amazing. No, thank you. Thank you for that great introduction there. I'm going to come back with some questions. But before I do, I just want to say hello to the people that are here. Thank you so much for joining. I can see lots of you have joined us on here today. We have people from Nigeria, Ghana. Someone said I'm watching and listening, but please let us know, even the US as well, and Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining. Please leave your name and let us know where you're joining. And I said, just let us know if you're already in tech, you're looking to transition to tech, you're already a senior boss in tech. Just leave it on there for us, because we might be needing you to join in on some conversation today. But thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to post those. We will try to take questions at the end. I have some questions that I have for Kes to answer here for us. But we want to make this very interactive. We want to be able to answer your questions about, of course, transitioning into tech, if that's what you're looking for. So So thank you very much for joining. We're gonna keep going here. So you said, and a lot of times when people are like for me, right, my team and I were constantly, people are constantly moving in here, and a lot of times the profession and what they did in their home country is not something they really want to consider and all of that. And tech has really been so big in the last 5 years or so here. There's really been a big push for it. I mean, thanks to people like you who are creating so much awareness around the potential that does exist in this industry.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are concerned about it. And some of the things there that you said was when you got that first job, you were like, oh my God, that imposter syndrome came in. And a lot of times people don't even know how to identify those transferable skills that they need to showcase in this type of thing. So how can people who are looking to transition and consider tech determine that they're a good fit for tech?
Okay, very good question, Florence. So I think there are certain areas of tech that people have to be aware of, right? There's obviously the technical piece where it involves really technical stuff you have to understand. So I saw someone say they're a front-end developer there. So you have to be able to develop and code and all of that. And then this non-technical portion that is, non-technical, but it exists within the tech space, which is the area that I focus on. So there are roles like business analysis, there are roles like project management, Scrum Master, right? All of these roles are the non-technical roles almost that exist within the technical space. And as professionals from, wherever it is you're coming from, you probably already have certain skills that you've used in your day-to-day role in your current profession. All of these skills can be transferable. For example, communication skill. We all communicate. We do presentations, we write documents, business cases, whatever it is that we're using on a day-to-day basis in our current profession. All these things can be transferred. Analytical skills, at some point in your role, whatever it is your profession is, you have to analyze information. All of these things can be transferred. So there are very key points that people can bring from their old roles into this new role. Of course, everything else, the technical tools that you would need to learn to thrive in the industry, you have to learn that. And that's what the training program kind of focuses on and teaches one. But like where I was going to was really, whatever you have done, there are skills that you can pull out of there. There's, interpersonal skills, people that you relate to in the workplace on a day-to-day basis. You're going to be relating with different types of personalities. You're going to be able to manage them. All of these things you're going to obviously use in this new world, tech space, project space, whatever it is that you're getting into. So people need to understand the difference between the technical roles and the non-technical roles that exist, such as business analysis and Scrum Masters and project managers within the project space, of course. So those are the roles. I see someone asking a question there. I think we'll get to
and I think as you're right there really talking about those roles, for example, like everyone always hears business analysis. What does a business analyst actually do?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. So think about it this way. A business analyst is that intermediary between, two sides. There's the business side. So the day-to-day running of a company is handled by, operations. There's a marketing team, there's a sales team, there's a finance team, there's human resources. All this day-to-day operation makes the company work. And the end goal of this organization is to make profits. So they have to hire different people to put things together. So they're called the business or the operations side of things.
The operations,
When there's a solution that they use to do their business every day. They come into work, they log into their HR systems, they log into their customer service systems. Again, the end goal is to create profit for the company. Those solutions that they use is managed by the tech team, developers, right? These guys build the system, they make sure it's running. If there are any issues, they call on them, they fix them. Now, a business analyst comes in when the company, they've identified a need. We need to change something. Something is not working, or we want to grow. We need to implement new systems. That's where a BA comes in. And it's always within a project space because they've seen a need that has been identified. A BA now comes in and helps drive that project to the end by doing certain things like, what are the things we actually need to do? What type of information do we need to collect? Requirements. That's the role of a BA. Closing the gap between between that business side, the day-to-day running, and the technical team, because developers are not going to come talk to you, the HR rep.
Yeah.
They want to talk to someone who understands what they're saying,
who can break it down.
Who can break it down. And you are that person in the middle who can talk to stakeholders using plain language and also liaise with developers in a way that they understand. So that's the role of a BA. You are basically in between. You're talking to both sides of the coin. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, because I've had those, like, even in my professional career as well, where you're implementing a new software and there's a business analyst team that is like talking to us, passing on our concerns, and then into the
someone else is
developing it and things like that, and also documenting the process, like whatever is going to come out for the rest of. So tech team does their stuff, and then someone has to put it into business processes for us to
them. Exactly.
Right? So that's that.
That's
so
the rule.
And where does Scrum Master come into play? Who are those guys and what do they do?
Yeah, so the Scrum Masters now, so this project that we just talked about, so a project is always born. There's a need for a project, it starts to happen. A Scrum Master now exists within a specific type of project, which is a specific type of project environment, which is the agile environment. It's a way to deliver projects. The Scrum Master basically is the master of that project. The master of the team. So you're helping to drive that thing to completion. You're identifying any problems that the team may have. Are there any issues that they are facing that's causing them to not do their job on a day-to-day basis? You try to help them address the issue, fix any problems they have, basically just drive that work to the end goal. So Scrum Masters are like the master of a team. Within that team, you would have BAs, you would have the developers, you would have testers. Scrum Master is making sure everything is flowing smoothly to the end point.
Okay. So for these two roles that you've talked about, which is always everyone hears BA, transition into tech and all of that. And someone who hears tech is, am I going to be coding? From what you've told me so far, I'm not hearing coding. Is it required as part of the certification process and what people would need to really transition, aside from, of course, all of those other transferable skills that you talked about? Is there a need to have some coding experience?
So, there's never a need to not have anything, right? However, it is not an absolute requirement for certain roles, such as pure business analyst roles. It is not a requirement. There are now certain types of business systems analyst roles, or they would call them IT analysts or systems analysts. Once you start to hear the word systems with the analysis, then you know that there's those coding skills required. But once it's a pure business analyst role, know that it's heavy on liaising with business, talking to them, like you said, documenting their processes, putting down the requirements, driving that future states of what the company wants to get to solution-wise. In that case, you don't need that to learn how to code or have that coding skills or right off the bat. However, I'm a promoter of continuous learning. Once you are able to get in, learn, right? Take the next step. The first step was breaking in. Now you are in. What is next? Maybe you want to learn how to read reports or understand reports. Then that's something you need to do, right? But just to break in as a business analyst, you don't need those technical coding skills.
That's good. That's really good to know. That's very good to know, because then I think even sometimes with our like study permit applications that we do and things like that, we will sometimes have students who are coming for business analysis, postgraduate diploma programs. And these are the types of things that we have to explain, even when they have not had that background or that foundation and things like that. But it's really when you look at the course content and look at what they've done and the career that they're able to even achieve after getting those, then there is a need for it. And very rarely do we see that there's that big coding factor required up front and things like that. So that's really good. That's really good. So now there's a lot of things that you've said to with like documenting process and all of the things that BAs would do and all. The emergence of artificial intelligence, which we all know and have heard of, like the likes of ChatGPT and all of that.
I love ChatGPT, by the way.
Oh, I love it too. Such an incredible tool. Like
It
I'm
is.
constantly pushing the limits with it to
Yes.
see what more it
What
can
else
do
can
for
you do?
me.
Yeah, I
Can
thought
you
I
do
was the
for
only
me?
one.
So that's good. That's good. So well, let's stop there. You said you love ChatGPT as a business analyst. How does that help you? And are you scared that it would impact the industry itself?
I'm not scared at all.
Okay.
I'm not scared at all. If anything, I think it's going to augment the way we work, which is
Fantastic.
beautiful,
It's
right?
fantastic.
It is
Absolutely.
fantastic. You know, the reason why roles like business analysis, scrum master, those roles that have that human touch, you need to analyze using the human ability. Those roles cannot be easily replaced by AI, right?
Yeah.
Because there's that human component to it. And that's the role of a business analyst or a scrum master. There are certain things that happen. You have to think, okay, what would be the best way to do this? What are the best options? So the human interaction is there. You interacting with stakeholders, you're talking to people, that human interaction is there. So I always tell people, once that human interaction is there, it's not going to take over. AI is not going to take over. If anything, I personally think roles like developer roles, they should be scared. Because have you seen what ChatGPT can do? It can create a full-on application for you in 10
Oh
minutes.
wow.
Yes.
Are you
It
serious?
can code a full application for you in 10 minutes. So those pure technical coding skills and all of those developer things may be replaced. But that human interaction is going to be difficult to replace, right? It augments the way we work.
Yes.
So even as business analysts, now I'm starting to advise my students, this is going to help produce better results, produce better documents for you, right? There are so many prompts you can put in there. There's so many suggestions it gives you. You take that, you fine tune it. Again, fine tuning is adding that human interaction,
Yes.
that human touch to the results. So like I said, I love using ChatGPT. I don't think it's going to take over the role of, business analysis, project management, all of those human components. It's not doing that. At least not for the next little while. Maybe as it gets advanced. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's really good to know, because with all those things, as they get announced and get released, lots of people are constantly, because there's even the talk a lot of like front end jobs. Like, I mean, we're both business owners, and sometimes there's certain things that you would have waited for your employee to complete for you and all of that, and you could quickly get ChatGPT to draft it for you, literally. And then so it's like, I mean, it's not perfect, and that's why I still feel like even jobs at those levels may not really be totally eliminated, because sometimes it's not perfect. It still has to come from you and come from your brand perspective and things like that.
Right.
So
exactly,
there's definitely still, it is a great tool to have, but not an eliminating tool.
I agree.
So there's that ChatGPT, but then there's also, I cannot have this session with you honestly without talking about the big tech layoffs that have happened.
Yeah.
When we're here and we're telling people tech is a great profession, a great field, becoming a BA, Scrum Master, and all of this is great to transition into. How does this play out, and what does this mean with all of the tech layoffs that we've been seeing from the big tech companies? What do you have to say about that?
So I think a few things happened, right? There have been layoffs. I think recently they just announced, Alphabet announced another thousands of number. So I think what they're doing right now is correcting what they did during pandemic. A lot of hiring happened during pandemic because obviously things went from normal to abnormal. So companies had to adjust, and they had to adjust fast for business to continue. So they hired a lot of people. If you look at some of the numbers, 60,000 employee went from 60,000 to 220,000. Some went from 80,000 to about maybe 200,000. So there was a lot of hiring that went on during the pandemic. So what we're seeing now is the market, they're trying to correct all of that.
Correct itself.
Because they hired people, they were not hiring people who were just entry-level staff. They were hiring people who they were paying huge bonuses, huge starting salaries. So obviously now with, the recession is being coming on. Is there a recession? Is there not a recession? Is it going to happen? So all of that, they need to start to make it better. they need to start a fight. They need to reduce all the spending because, of course, there's also the interest rates hike that's been happening since last year. So there's a lot of spending that companies are seeing. And if you notice, these are obviously the big tech, right? Google, all the big tech companies, they are the ones who are trying to right size all that extra hiring they did. So it's really a right sizing. It's not downsizing.
Not
It's
a
right sizing
downsizing.
at this point. Yeah.
That's a good word.
And people ask me, they say, oh, with all these people out in the job market looking for work, what are the chances? Go on job boards, go on Indeed, go on Workopolis, go on Monster. There's still thousands of roles still being advertised.
That's right.
So the focus now is not only on the big tech, because obviously the big tech are the ones doing the layoffs. There's all the other industries. There's manufacturing, there's finance, banking. All these other industries will forever hire. They're still hiring, and tech roles exist within each and every one of them. Health tech is huge right now. A lot of companies all the health companies, they're hiring. So don't focus only on the one side, which is the tech companies doing the layoffs. There are all the other industries that are still hiring and still looking for people. So, there's still work out there in a nutshell. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. Very, 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 very important. And I love that. I love that we get to clear the air on that. So then if people have already spent time and money and research and trying to get into this field or have been really passionate about it, don't let that what is happening
bother you. Yeah.
Definitely do your research, like Kesiena has said. Not just the big four tech, the Apple and those big guys, but look at the companies, because it is the truth. Those very still relevant. Tech professions are still doing very well.
Everywhere, yeah. There's
everywhere.
There's a tech field in every industry, basically. So don't look at only one area. There's opportunities everywhere.
Absolutely. Right? That's good. So now we have determined that it is still exists.
It's still in demand. So if someone is getting hired, right? So don't let that.
So then, so that if someone is like, where is the starting point? I'm an accountant. I'm an engineer. I'm a health professional. I'm a nurse, and I want to come out and do something different. Where can they start from? What type of training do they have to start? And what do you offer as well in terms of training for those types of people that would be interested in now transitioning to tech?
Yeah. Okay, so really that's my training school is the reason why I do what I do. It's helping all of these professionals because first of all, you have to have done some sort of professional work. Whatever it is your background is, you want to transition. You're not a fresh grad. So I really focus on helping professionals, right, who want to transition. So the training school helps you, teaches you everything you need to know to transition into this field. So if it's business analysis, if it's Scrum Master, project management, whatever it is the field is, we have programs that are catered to you learning everything you need to know to transition. However, there are preconditions or criteria that must exist. Before I had to use my BA term, of course. There are criteria that must exist before you can even do this. So number one, what have you done, right? Like you said, I've been an engineer for X number of years, or I've been an accountant for X number of years. So you definitely use software applications. You are knowledgeable within the corporate workforce. You understand how to work with people, how to do all these different things within a corporate setting first. So those are the things that I determine before even accepting anyone into the program, because I structure my things a bit differently. I have to make sure you meet certain criteria before coming into the program. And then, of course, all of this helps you because now when you're taking the program, we try to tailor it to your background. You've been an accountant, you've been a human resource specialist, you've been, someone who's been, whatever it is you've done. We help you to understand where you're fitting as a BA based on what you have done, which is typically from that application angle. You have worked with certain applications, you've used them, you understand the flow, what happens from start to finish. So bring that in. And then we teach you everything else, which is now learning the software lifecycle, the development lifecycle, understanding and learning the tools that you need to use to deliver results within the project setting. So I bring everything together. And then
Good.
it makes sense. And then of course there's that revamp that you need to do to present yourself differently. That's the most important part for me, because you can do all this and you're not presenting properly, nobody's going to reach out to you. No recruiter reached out to you, you're not going to get a job, basically. So the big piece for me is that endpoint where you have to revamp yourself. You have to create this outlook as a professional in this new space, right? And that's what I do.
Would you say that revamp is what really helped you? Because as you go back to your base story, when by the time you got your license and everything, you were able to get a good senior business analyst role. Would you say that revamp is what was really critical for you to be able to gain that role, in addition to, of course, the skill set and everything you've got? Because there's a lot of people who come out with this BA degree, certification and all, and are not able to get the job they thought they would be able to get. So would you say that was crucial?
Very valid, very correct. And I think that's a very important point to make. I always say this, even when I do my consultations, I tell people, I'm like, a training program is exactly what it is. It is a training program. It's going to teach you, all the competent areas. It's going to teach you all the knowledge areas. It's going to teach you how to deliver the stuff based on the competent areas. And that's it. However, there's that mentorship and that coaching that is the main, I think that's the it factor, right?
Yeah.
Now you have an interview booked. What do I say in the interview? I'm scared. Yes. How do I react? You need somebody, right? So the it factor really is that extra work. And back to your question, it is what helped me 100%. That's 100%, good. Because there's so many things you don't know. You have never done this, remember? You've only just done a training program, maybe created a couple of deliverables based on that program, and you're trying to transition. You need a coach, you need a mentor to tell you certain things. How do you even respond in certain situations? How do you insert yourself based on what you've done before? You need somebody. So definitely that's the differentiating factor there.
That's good.
That's what I try to really focus heavy on. That extra support.
That extra support is part of your program, the revamp after the training is done with you. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yes, 100%. That's the revamp, positioning yourself, all of that it happens within the period of the training program. The last day of class is never the end of my interaction with the students. To me, I think that's when the work starts. Because that's that's when you start to interview. That's when you start, intensively looking for work. Now, going back to your question, where you said a lot of people take the training program and they're not able to get something. Two things: people lose interest quickly, and then secondly, they get demotivated. Or I applied and nobody called me. Well, you applied for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then you stopped. You can't stop. And I think that's where that extra push, that extra support, you guys can't stop. You have to keep doing this. Why have I not heard from you? So that's that ongoing push that people need to get to that end point, right?
Yeah. So are you saying, sorry, I keep stressing that because if I'm getting a training and all of that, I really want to know what's in there for me and what I can expect. Are you saying that there's that support there with your students until they're able to secure that job?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh,
so
perfect.
People will, at that point, that's where you're actively applying for work. That's where you need to tweak your resume to apply for a certain type of role. You have questions. That's when a recruiter reaches out to you. You have questions. You're not sure. Should I accept this range or should I ask for more? You have to ask someone questions. I make myself 100% available. If you need me, sometimes last minute they book an interview. My student will reach out and say, I have an interview, it's last minute. I will, if it's 1 a.m., I will make myself available because we have to prepare, right?
Yeah.
That's the commitment that I've made to students and myself. If I'm helping you, I want to see all the way to the end. I want to make sure you succeed. However, it comes both ways. I give and you also have to give, right? It's both ways. So I make myself available for the students and I really try to support them all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I see someone ask a question. I don't know if
someone else. I'm gonna put that because it's right what we're talking about.
Yes.
Great question. Yeah.
Yes.
Before you actually answer that question, there was, I think I was browsing sometime online and I saw this question about someone who had actually done a great job and got this BA role. And it was a day before job was starting and she was literally freaking out. He or she, I don't know who it was, but it was one of these anonymous group posts and all of that. I was literally freaking out. I'm about to start. I don't know if I'm going to survive, what I'm going to do and things like that. And I think it really goes into this question that Orade has asked, which is like, after mentorship, getting the job, what happens on the job?
So very, very important question.
Yeah.
Again, two things, right? The mentorship piece has happened. You have gotten the job. You get into the organization. You have to expect certain things day one, which is what I tell my students. You've gotten the offer. This is not the end. When you go in day one, week one, there are certain expectations from you as a BA. So you have to have all of these expectations. You have to set them first of all.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell them. These are the things to expect week one. These are the kind of questions to ask, And then once you have been given a project, do you have questions with your project? Reach out to me. I still make myself available, right?
Amazing.
You have, you have concerns. You're not sure how to go about a certain type of deliverable. Reach out to me. To me, it's not. I look at it as a partnership, right? And a network building.
Network building.
Yeah, I want to expand my network. I'm not just here to do a training and then let you go. As a matter of fact, everybody that I've trained that have been successful, we're all friends. We have built that. Yeah, we built that relationship because you are constantly in communication with these people. After a certain point, you build that connection and you guys just take it from there. So people would still reach out if they have questions. And of course, I'm always there to give guidance, right?
That's good. That's good. And when you talk about networking, I even just want to mention how powerful that is because for you, with the people that you've trained over time, hundreds of them, imagine how big that network is. For even your new students coming up, one day your BA that you trained might be the one hiring a BA. Guess where that connection comes from?
That's right. That's right.
Links your students and things like that. So you really can't even put a price on keeping those connections open and even seeing to the fact that those students actually get success, out of their program.
And it's really, for me, it's not just transitioning. I always try to say transitioning and thriving, right? There's one thing to just getting, sometimes a fluke. They just have one interview and they hire you, and then you're in. You don't know what to do, right? You're in a meeting. You are not contributing to the meeting. You're not doing anything. After a few months, they notice they will let you go.
Yeah,
they will let you go. So it's about thriving in this new field, really putting yourself as the expert and doing the job that you're supposed to be doing. And that's what I make sure. So even people that have transitioned 3 months in, I check in. How's everything going? Still good? And most time, they're good because they train well. I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely. No, that's great. You actually have really, really great reviews as well, because it's one of the things that when I was looking for someone to help answer these questions that clients typically ask, I just wanted someone who actually has results to show for it and have had people go through their program. So that's really good. That's absolutely amazing. In terms of, so I think there's a question there, and I think it's really in line with what we're talking about. So let's take Amina's question. Amina has a question here. She said, can a public relations and communication specialist transition to BA?
I think, again, any background can transition into BA. So communication specialist, first of all, you are heavy on communication. BA role is heavy on communication. You're every day constantly interacting with stakeholders every single day. So that communication skill, the first thing you see, they ask for excellent communication, and it's not just written, it's verbal, it's interpersonal, it's all the different types of communication skills. As a communication specialist, you probably already have that. You have excellent communication, written, presenting, documenting, all of that, right? So you are able to pull this into the new world, right? So definitely possible. Public relations, again, you're interacting with people.
Yeah.
You're interacting with stakeholders, different audience. So definitely something that you can bring to the new world. I always tell people the technical part, such as the tools and setting deliverables, is learned. What you cannot teach someone is how to communicate.
Yeah, you can't. It's difficult.
Yeah. So the other part is learned. The others are transferred.
That's good. That's good. Perfect. That's a good. I hope that answers. Your question. I hope that answers your question. Another question here. A lot. Kay has another one. Please, how about supply chain management moving to tech?
Again, possible.
Absolutely.
Think about your supply chain. You probably use a certain type of software application on your job day to day to track inventory, movements, what do we have remaining. All of that is application. Somebody built that application. A BA was involved. So as long as you already have that domain knowledge of these type of applications and how they work, that's an area to start from.
Absolutely. That's good. I hope that answers your question, Kay. And I think there was someone here that also said, Joy said something.
Are you saying BA in Canada is the best course? Someone said
that.
Oh,
yes, I just saw that one. Yeah. Go ahead. Over to you.
Oh, well, I'm going to be very biased and say yes. Well, not BA in general, but I mean the tech industry, BA, Scrum, project management. It's lucrative.
I'm going to stop you there when you say lucrative. Let's talk about the money, because that is key for everybody. Yes. Everyone's trying to help themselves, pay their bills and all of that. So tell me, when you say it's lucrative, what do you mean? What does this look like money-wise, dollars-wise?
It's exactly what it means. It pays well. It just doesn't pay, it pays well. So a lot of roles will start entry-level roles, mid-level roles. You'll find, typical roles, salary range in Canada, 60K, 70K. But as a business analyst coming in, that could easily be your starting pay. And then as you start to grow, you're commanding 90, 100. And then once you're a senior person, senior BA, easily in today's market, 115, 125.
Amazing.
Range. So these are full-time roles. Even if you want to go on the flip side for consulting roles, which is what I do, you're commanding up to 120 an hour, up to 130 an hour.
That's $120 per hour.
An hour, yes.
Fantastic. You guys, I am switching.
On the lower range.
No, immigration consultants might be quitting.
No, you're not. They need you. So it is lucrative. It's a very lucrative industry. That's why, it's no coincidence that a lot of people want to get in, because as an accountant, you might come in and you can still be making 65, 70K. Whereas if you switch, you can easily be making 100, right?
Absolutely. Especially because when you come from some of those skill sets, I think I should even add there, one of the things, because I do have seen people who have been successful in those transitions is, for example, the person who asked supply chain management. Imagine if you finish this program and there's a supply chain logistic company who is looking for a business analyst.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. You're not starting at the bottom.
Yeah.
You are going in there literally as an expert with additional sets of skills that you can command more compensation, because you're not just a BA who doesn't know about logistics. You are coming in as a BA with logistics background completely. So that definitely sets you apart as well.
I'm so happy you said that, because that's one of the very key things to transition in. So I do not do generic resumes. I always ensure that we're sticking to your background, because that's going to help you while you're interviewing. Yes. So once you have positioned yourself as a supply chain business analyst, you already have domain knowledge. You already understand the supply chain workings, how things work in that industry. Absolutely. So once you position yourself that way, those roles are going to be coming to you.
They will.
And then, of course, once you're interviewing in a role like that, you're not speaking from a place of, I don't know. You already know. So it increases your chances. And then once you get in, obviously, you're going to do better because you already understand how everything works.
Everything works. Absolutely. We're going to answer this one question here again. How can manufacturing manager transition into tech? I think if it links to what I just said,
yes, exactly.
Go ahead, Kesiena.
Yeah, but it's similar. It all depends. It's a manufacturing manager is very broad. It all depends on, again, what type of team were you managing? What areas? What applications did you use? all of those things will come into play, right? And you are able to transition into the industry. Of course, good. First learning the knowledge areas.
That's really good. Now, if someone is here and has been like really sitting on the fence around this and is like, I think this sounds good from what I'm hearing, I have the right skill set and all of that. Usually from the time they start the training program, how long does it take them to get the certification, the qualification they need to start positioning themselves as business analysts?
So the training itself, the training program that I offer is 6 weeks. We do it twice a week for 6 weeks. Yeah, it's it's a lot of learning in that period, but we carry everyone through the program. You're going to work on deliverables. A project is actually created by the students at the end. So you are going through the program, understanding the exact software lifecycle. So at the end, you're ready, right? So at the end of that program, you're ready to start positioning for roles. Typically, the average time from finishing the program, applying, going through the interview process, getting an offer, typically it used to be around 6 to 8 weeks. Now I'm seeing a bit more time added to that. So it's looking like the 3 months mark right now. Again, just because of the market, right? Companies are not sure what's going on, especially late last year, there were less roles as opposed to the previous year. But things would pick up because now for the first time, there was no interest rate increase. So now once that starts to go down, you'll see. Yeah. Tell me about that. So we are going to see things get better. So I always tell people, don't wait for that time. Position yourself, be ready, because the market will obviously improve, adjust, and then you should be ready when it does.
That's good. So because when they finish the training with you, there is the licensing exams that needs to be taken, or is that completed immediately? They have done this training in 6 weeks with you. I just wanted to understand what that looks like.
So the licensing exam is really the certification exam, which is with the IIBA. So that's the body of knowledge, the business analysis body of knowledge globally. And the exam is called the CBAB exam.
CBAB, right?
CBAB. So as a business analyst professional, some people have the CBAB certification, some don't. It's not a criteria. I always tell people it's not a criteria to landing a job, because you can have that CBAB certification on your resume, but they call you for an interview, you are not sounding like a CBAB certified person. Nobody is going to offer you a job based on the fact that you have CBAB on your resume.
Okay.
So what I advise is focus your attention on finding a job.
Okay.
Once you find that job, the company that you are hired will actually pay for that exam for you.
Oh, that's good. That's a good tip, guys. Very important.
It's an important tip. However, a lot of Africans, we love studying. We love our certifications.
We love our letters.
The more the better, right? So if people want to do it, the training that I offer actually gives the points to qualify for the exam. So people can get the points and automatically qualify for the exam to write the exam. So it all depends on the individual. However, my personal preference is, why don't you focus your attention the next 2 months on getting a job instead of focusing another 2 months on reading and studying and passing, and then you don't know if you're going to get a job based on what you just wrote.
What you just did. Yeah,
there's a catch-22 there, but that's my personal point of view. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. So I have this question here, and I thought it was really interesting because a lot of people come from this background, non-professionals, maybe not the accountants, not the medical doctors, or not the nurse, or how about a non-professional role like customer service, call center agent? Do they have opportunities here? Is this an area that they can pivot into as well?
This is a very, very good question. And I actually say that I love working with customer service people. I love them to become students. You know why? They have certain skills that a typical accountant or the typical salesperson don't have. They have grit. A customer service person, a call center agent, they're taking X number of calls every day. They actually rated on the number of calls they can turn around, right?
Wow.
They are communicating. They are resolving issues every single call.
Problems.
Yeah, every single call. Problem solving skill is 100 with those guys. The interpersonal relationship, like you can be upset as a customer service agent, but you gotta keep it together. You need all of that. Another key thing with call center agents, with the training, the first thing they do is train you on the applications. They train you on how to use the screens. If a customer calls in and says something like, oh, my card is blocked, they tell you exactly where to go. So these guys are navigating multiple screens, pulling up multiple applications at the same time. So that application knowledge is top. They have it. They understand what screen, what happens if I input this here, this is the flow. If I do this here, it stops here. So they actually understand that process flow from start to finish. All of this can be transferable. So definitely something that you can switch with a call center experience, customer service experience. You can definitely navigate into the field with that.
That's good. There's a great question here, which was going to be my next question. The next question was going to be, you're in Canada. Do you serve only the people that are currently in Canada? Because for most of my clients that are coming, a lot of them want to prepare before they even get here and things like that. And this already here has a great question. He's like, he or she was like, was an admin officer in Nigeria, did masters in information technology management here in the UK, and currently working as a support worker. Will be in Canada soon. Should I start now or in Canada? So what would you say? Who do you work with? Do you work with people that are already here, or you work with people across the board, across from any country looking to come to Canada?
So my focus is UK, US, Canada. So people immigrating to any of these countries, that's my focus. From wherever, from Nigeria, I have people from Nigeria, from Ghana, a couple from South Africa. So depending on where you're coming from, you're transitioning. When is a good time? As long as you know this is someone like you already, maybe you're coming in the next 3 months, it's a good practice to prepare.
Yeah.
Right? Because once you get in here, it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
You got to settle. You have to find a place. If you have kids, you have to settle the kids in school. There's all these other things that comes with relocating that you need to focus on. At that point, the training program is not your focus.
It's the last thing on your mind. Yeah. Set something there.
I advise people, do it before. Have the training component completed at least, so that once you're here, the focus is on applying. Because you've already learned what you need to learn, right? Now your focus should just be on applying. As opposed to coming, you don't know anything about the field. You have to think about studying and do your project and all of that. You are not in that mindset frame anymore.
Yeah.
Right? It takes time to get into that frame of mind once you're an immigrant.
Yes.
And that's where you see people start to lose it. They're here 6 months, 1 year. They fall into any role. And then it's like 2 years. They're starting to second doubt, like, why did I even do this, So the best time is before. However, I still have a lot of people who are already here and they're taking the course. But you can see the challenge, because they have to work. They have to go to work.
Yeah.
And sometimes you miss a class here. It's tough as a new immigrant. So preparation ahead, I say, is very advisable. And I find that people who have done that, they've succeeded. Because the minute they get here, really just focusing on the application part of things.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And you really, really said it so well. And if anyone that is thinking to come, relocating and everything, no lies detected in what she said. Because when you come, it's going to be the transitioning process will take a lot. It will take a different mindset for you to be able to combine that settlement and doing it as well. It's not like it's not possible. But when Kesiena was talking there, what really popped out to me was just, you have an extra person in your corner, because that job search is not easy on its own. And sometimes we have clients that talk to us, or people who are talking to other career coaches and people that are helping them. And a lot of times you find that not that you don't have the skill set to get a job in Canada. You just need the right type of coaching, the right type of direction. Occasionally, I've had the opportunity to prep people for interviews as well. And after that, someone who didn't get a job for so many times,
They
obviously,
get something.
job
Yeah.
because they did not talk about themselves in the right way. They didn't present themselves in the right light for this employer. So if you're interested in that BA role and you start before you come, then you already have someone in your corner who is going to help you and direct you with that job search. And trust me, it makes a world of a difference in that whole hiring process.
100.
And the good thing in Canada right now is that Canada is not even at that time where many years ago, when you come, it would take time before you found a job in your field and all of that. We're in such a right market, and we're also in a great time where immigrants have come and done such great work. So employers are open, desperately looking for people who are going to come and work. So if you come and have the right certification, the right education, training, and then you're able to go in and ace those interviews, you're just starting off from a good place. So it makes a good, if you have the ability and you have the time as well to devote to that training, if you're interested in that transition before you come, it would make a lot of sense as well.
And to add to what you just said, with it being the right time, I say, it's the best time to be Black in Canada. Companies are giving room for Black professionals. They're creating space that did not exist way back when I came, right? So coming in, if there are 3 BA roles, they say one of them has to be Black. So they're desperately looking for a Black person to come and interview, right? So it's the best time to be Black in tech. They're giving room for diversity. They're giving room for equity. Why not? Why not jump into it and take advantage, right?
Absolutely. So I know you all through our conversation here, of course, so much great nuggets and tips already for people that are looking to start this and all. You've talked about your training school. Tell us more about your training school, and also, most importantly, what makes it different? Because you know that there's a lot of BA training schools out there. What makes Sena different from other training schools, and what makes it stand out, even from your clientele and the results that you see as well?
I think we kind of touched on this throughout the
conversation.
And really, like I said, it's that extra, going the extra mile, supporting each individual. So first of all, I've structured the program in such a way that there's a capacity to the cohorts. Over a certain number, I move you to the next cohort, because I know that I cannot support 50 people or 40 people at the same time. So I have a small number. After that number, I move you to the next cohort. Like, there's nothing you're going to say you're getting moved, because once it's time to support these individuals individually, not now in a group setting, one-on-one, that's where that's where people have, calls. They need to speak with me. I need to be able to split my time within 8 people or 10 people. I can't do that with 50 people. So for me, my differentiating factor is really that extra support. It goes a long way in finding your job. It goes a very long way in getting that role that you're looking for. Just a training program. Like I said, it's a training program. It's going to cover, especially when it's a certified training program, which is mine, it has to cover the knowledge area. So it covers all of that knowledge area, teaches you what you need to know. But then this thing, what do you do with it? Right. So that's where I really put a lot of emphasis on that mentorship, that coaching, ongoing support. When you land the job, even after you land the job, you still have access to us.
No, that's great. That's great. We're almost wrapping up here. It's been such a great conversation here with Sena. Sena has actually had a busy day. She's the MVP here today, guys, because we had her training session in the morning and joining me here today. It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for making the time for this conversation here today. Now, a lot of people have heard, and there's going to be more people watching this and listening and being very curious and looking to explore this option to transition to tech. How can they contact you? How can they reach out to you? I think we have that form, so I'll link.
So there's a form they can use to contact me if they wish to transition into any of the roles. Also, my Instagram is one of the fastest ways to reach us. It's monitored very frequently. So you could easily send a message or book a consultation, a free consultation to speak with myself. And then in that consultation, I get to know each individual and understand where they're coming from, their background, before we can talk about the chances of transitioning. So those are kind of the things that I like to do. So Instagram, BA with Sena, straightforward. Facebook, same, but I think Instagram is the quickest place, like I said. Yeah.
Okay.
Also have a LinkedIn that would be linked to the form there.
Yeah.
If you want to connect on LinkedIn, I'm happy to make a connection as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. And then you also talked about your intake. Are there specific times when you are open for intake that people should be aware of, and when it closes and things like that? I know that one of the things about Kes is like just even listening to her talk about her clients and her processes is it's not everyone she takes. Just like she said, very close, small class group, which is just so fantastic for a program like this. But it's let people know how soon do they need to sign up, what is the process and all of that. When are your different cohorts so that they're able to plan?
Yeah. So it is a 6 weeks program, like I said. The next one actually starts on Tuesday, because it's twice a week for 6 weeks. Tuesdays and Saturdays. So the next cohort starts on the 4th of April.
4th of April.
And that runs into somewhere around mid-May. And then typically we'll take about 2 weeks break and then start another cohort. So that's the cycle that we operate with. So if anyone is interested in joining the next one, which I think is full, the April 4th is kind of at the end already. So it would be the next cohort coming.
The next cohort coming.
Yeah. In May. So that's the way that we structure things. So people, obviously, you need to reach out early to be able to join the one that is coming up in a month. Yeah. Otherwise, you just get pushed to the subsequent cohorts. And then something else that people do, so they know maybe they're relocating in September. They would reach out to me and they say, okay, this is the time I'm coming in. Maybe I can join your August cohort or your July cohort prior to the relocation time.
Absolutely. Perfect. So that's great. So thank you so much. Is there any other last questions in the house before we wrap up here? It's been such a great session, just learning about a lot of things tech related and also business analyst and the position, the opportunity, how you can transition. Quite a number of people ask a lot of questions about, I'm this profession, can I transition and everything? And those are all great questions and a good place to start. And as Kesa said, she has that free consultation that I think you should leverage. That's it. Have a one-on-one conversation with her, because what she really would do for you is look at your credentials, look at your background, and see if you're at the right place for that. Because I think one of the things you had said at first is you work with people who already have work experience. So she would be able to assess what you've already done to determine if you will be a good fit for this. Because of course, we want success. So there's no need to be someone who would not have a likelihood of being able to succeed at the end of the program. So having that one-on-one session with her would definitely get a lot of those questions answered. And if you can complete the intake form that she has, then she'll be able to reach out to you that way. There's one question. There's a question that I was wondering if no one was going to ask, but I'll put it up there. How much is the training, Kesiena?
Money.
Money.
I don't like to use the word how much. I like to say, what is the investment?
Yes.
So there is an investment. With every investment, there are returns.
Absolutely.
So the investment for this training is 2,500 Canadian dollars. I don't shy away from it because it is a fee. You're going to pay the fee to get something. So this is the investment that people pay. And I tell people, you get a job, that's not even up to your biweekly pay once you get a job.
Yeah.
Like you will.
It's an investment. And a lot of times in things that we want to do, sometimes you have to assess yourself and look at the return on that investment.
Exactly.
The return on that investment. And for everything you've said that you give into this course and the network you have and what people will benefit beyond just that training, I think that is a fantastic investment for someone. If for that amount you're able to transition into a role that can get you upwards of 80 to 100,000 at some point, that is a fantastic investment. Absolutely. That's like a full degree. A full degree will cost you so much.
Yeah.
So do you have people who are here, international students who may be even trying to do this on the side as well, just to transition?
Yes.
That will be the last question here.
Yes, I do. So with they changed the law, I think late last year sometime, where international students could work full time.
Yes.
So that has really helped a lot of the new students that came in, early this year. A lot of them have taken the program, finishing this cohort. A couple are finishing and then trying to transition, get a job, a full-time job while completing the study. So definitely an opportunity for students that they should take advantage of, right?
Absolutely. That's good. Rosie Baby just asked one more question here. Is training only for people inside Canada? Kesiena has said
No, it's not. It's virtual. So people logging, like I said, people in the UK, people are still in Nigeria when they take it. It's virtual. So as long as you have access to an internet and you're eligible, you can take the training.
You can take the training. Absolutely.
And it's live, right? So it's a live training. I like to put that out. It's
not a recorded training.
Sessions, no. It's a live training. You get to ask questions. We interact.
That's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. That's perfect. So we've come to the end of this. What are your final words to people looking to transition to tech? What is one thing that you would tell them?
I would say don't wait. The time is now, right? There's so much information out there right now that you have no reason to not be successful. Back then it was tough. Now there's a lot of information everywhere. There's information. So you have no reason to still be sitting on the fence. Right? If you've thought about it, you've done your research, it's something that you think you will be interested in, reach out, start asking questions and make the move.
Yeah. Just make the move. Be ready. Yeah. How can one register? Lots of questions coming. I'm going to take them because we're here. How can one register for the Scrum Master training? Again, I shared the link. I'm going to share it again. I'll paste the link again. That's the link that you can use to contact Kesiena and team, and they will be able to work with you through the process and assess. Of course, it's not just registering for it, like she said. There is an assessment process to ensure that you are eligible and you have the requirement to be successful upon completion of the program as well.
So once you register with that link, we will send you a consultation link. Just select a time that works for you. Obviously, it has to work for me too, but the slots will be there. Pick a slot, and then we'll get to chat.
Perfect. Well, I hope you've all found this helpful, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you all, and thank you so much, Kesiena, for making time off for us today.
Thank you, Florence.
Very, very helpful.
It was a fun conversation. I enjoyed speaking with you and answering everyone's questions.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everyone. The recording is going to be back live on all the platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, of course. So you can watch it again and share this with your friends. If you have people who are considering, thinking, and they're not sure, I think a lot of important information have been discussed and answered here that people would find very helpful. Feel free to share this this live event, and we will see you on our next one. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Okay.